Good evening and thank you. And thank you, Manaia. You did well for the nephew. I want to tell you a story that started 27 years ago, and today starts another chapter in that story. And each and every one of you that is here has a role to play in this story. Today is the start of a new chapter, and that chapter starts with a change in our name. The Canterbury Community Trust will now be known as Rata Foundation. This is such a big step in our history, and it is the first major change to our identity since our inception in 1988. But it's not just about changing our name. It is about reflecting our communities and reflecting what is important to each and every one of you here and the organisations that you represent. Rātā Foundation will continue to operate just as the Canterbury Community Trust has operated, but in our view, it will be even better. And a key part of that will be the way in which we work in partnership, side by side, together, clearing the pathway, as Manaia rightly said. All effective organisations evolve to keep pace with the changing needs of their stakeholders and the community they serve. And let us be very clear that each and every trustee around that table is here to serve you. We started this evolution process with a survey in April 2014, and it told us some things. Our name, the Canterbury Community Trust, was confusing. Many of our Canterbury applicants and influencers believed our funds were only for Canterbury, while other regions found the name isolating and not inclusive. Many people did not understand or know our history. Where and who does the money come from? The word trust was misleading and confusing, leading to people to ask what social services we provided or believed our money comes from gaming sources. We are proud of our status as an ethical funder and wanted to ensure we moved away from any perceived associations with gaming trusts. In developing our new name and identity, Rātā Foundation, we are addressing these concerns and taking a position of leadership, collaboration and smart investment, belonging to all of our funder regions, guardianship and community, probably the two most important ones, and our New Zealand identity. This is our first major update to our identity since we began 27 years ago, and it is a reflection of our desire to be more inclusive and provide a sense of belonging to our four funding regions of Canterbury, Nelson and Marlborough, and the Chatham Islands, personally my favourite, having been there. Fundamentally, we have refreshed our identity to better reflect our core beliefs and our strategic vision. Our new name, Rata Foundation, is inspired by the southern rata tree, and this for me is the most beautiful part of the next chapter in our story. The ancient species is well known for its brilliant red flowers, which provide one of the most colourful displays in the New Zealand forest. Our new logo is a stylised version of this, and with us as the trunk and the four branches depicting each region in a different colour. Rata Foundation is a uniquely New Zealand name. It evolved from the idea of a tributary or a braided river, bringing the idea that an organisation is constantly evolving and growing. Like the Rata tree, the Trust is a sustainable guardian which is continually giving back to the community, inclusive of all regions and sectors. It has its roots both in Te Reo and English. The name positions us as an enduring foundation or trunk, which supports an abundance of branches, leaves and flowers, all of you, the community we serve for generations to come. Our new name is supported by a positioning line, connect, collaborate, transform, which speaks to our purpose to be a catalyst for a happy, healthy, strong and prosperous community. Our funding assists the organisations we support in their work to connect, collaborate and transform our communities, your communities, now and in the future. Essentially, the work we all do is about people, and the people we fund are doing extraordinary things. This work will continue now and into the future for generations to come. Changes such as this don't happen quickly. Louise, you can stop smiling now. And it brings to mind the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. In this particular case, it took a village to raise this idea, nurture it, develop it into a name for the future. We are all excited and hope you will join us and become our brand ambassadors, letting the community at large know that while our name might have changed, our purpose hasn't. This is your trust, and we are here only to serve you. As Chair of the Brand Committee of the Board of Trustees, I would like to personally thank all of those people who have worked tirelessly to bring this name and what it truly means to life and to reflect our true essence, our soul, which is you, our community. Thank you to Roger Bridge and our Board of Trustees who have navigated what was always going to be a difficult yet rewarding process and who have supported me and the Brand Committee in our task. And those on the Brand Committee, I'd like to acknowledge and thank you for your guidance, your patience, and for seeing this through. To Louise Edwards and her team, well done. We know this hasn't been easy, but nothing in life ever worth doing is. I'd also like to acknowledge Tania. You have been phenomenal. You have worked hard, you have listened to our communities, and you have reflected what is important. And I'd finally like to acknowledge our design agency. Oh, health and safety, there's a hole. And in particular, Jeff. Now that might be pertinent, Jeff, me falling down a hole. You have been a true partner in this evolution process. They have gone way beyond the call of duty. They have met with us when we've wanted to meet with us. They have gone, they have listened, and they've listened to our communities. Again, what we do is all about people, our community. We are privileged to be able to continue to support hundreds of community projects which benefit tens of thousands who live in our funding regions. We know change is not always easy, but our promise to you is that we will continue to exhibit transparency and fairness in our approach. Our door is always open. We are excited about the future, and we want to bring you along for our journey, for the next chapter in our story, to realise our collective vision for strong, happy, connected, healthy and prosperous communities. Let's take a look at what's happening across our 4 funding regions of Canterbury, Nelson, Marlborough and the Chatham Islands.
We're excited to introduce our new name and visual identity. By changing our name, we are addressing concerns about our old name. Our new identity better reflects our strategic vision and core beliefs and takes a position of leadership, collaboration and smart investment, belonging to all 4 funding regions, guardianship and community. One thing that won't change is our core purpose, grant making. We are a $500 million endowment for the people of Canterbury, Nelson, Marlborough and the Chatham Islands. Since 1988, we have granted $400 million+ to help organisations grow and impact in their community. Behind every grant is a great community story.
We will continue to collaborate with you to bring projects and ideas to life.
We will continue to connect with you to ensure your needs are met. We want to help you in your work.
To transform lives and provide community benefit.
Just like the organic nature of the Rata tree itself, we and the communities we support will continue to connect, collaborate and transform.
Rata Foundation.
Join us on our journey.
That's the best of the lot. Woo!
E pātuki te manawa o te rata he oranga mō te iwi. The heartbeat of the rata sustains the people.
I'd now like to welcome the beautiful Elizabeth Cunningham, who has been very gracious to join us this evening from Ngāi Louise Edwards, our wonderful Chief Executive, and of course Roger Bridge, our Chair.
Tēnā rā koutou katoa, ngā mihi atu kia koutou, nau mai haere mai. I give my apologies on behalf of Sir Mark Solomon. I've been asked to speak on his behalf. He sent some words along. For some people, I am not Mark Solomon, I'm Elizabeth Cunningham, and I come from a little place called Rata. I'd also like to acknowledge our Chief Executive from Turunanga Ngaitahu, Arahi Mbeden, behind the past President of the National Māori Women's Welfare League, Linda, and it was my son that gave the karakia this afternoon, so it's really a family, but Turunanga Ngaitahu affair. Again, the whakatau ake, the Māori proverb, gifted by Ngāi Tahu, examines the rata tree as the tree is the guardian of the forest and feeding the forest soul along with the soul of the community. E patuki te manawa o te rata, he oranga mō te iwi, the heartbeat of the rata sustains the people. The heart of the tree can be likened to all things that give sustenance to people, be that natural or human-made. If we look after the rata tree, its heartbeat won't stop and it will continue to do its work. To Māori, the rata tree is referred to as a sacred tree. All parts of the tree were used for various purposes, for example, to create the tools of deep water fishing, and it also has medicinal purposes. Like the Rata tree, Rātā Foundation is a sustainable guardian which is continually giving back to the community, inclusive of all regions and sector. From a Ngāi Tahu perspective, this whakatau ake aligns with the values of iwi, particularly kotahitanga, unity, and whakawhanaungatanga, building relationships. As an iwi, it is very important we build relationships and networks with the wider community to support initiatives such as this one today. It is for all Waitaha, it was for all Canterbury, and now I hear Nelson, Marlborough and Wharekauri in the Chatham Islands. Nō reira, tēnā rā koutou, tēnā rā koutou, tēnā rā koutou katoa. Te warua i ahi e, ka noho kia tatari, ke whera koe te tau, ku ahi oki te ipoe. And Tracy, I do have a poha to you and the Rata Foundation. It's the seeds of the Rata, and it comes from Ngāi Tahu, which might be much older.
Kia ora. My name's Louise Edwards and I have the great privilege of being the Chief Executive of the Rata Foundation. I'm going to have to get used to saying that, aren't I? Thank you, Elizabeth and Linda. That was absolutely beautiful. And thank you so much for this very special gift of our whakatauki. We so appreciate the relationship we have with Ngāi Tahu and this makes a very, very special day for us. So thank you for coming along, and thank you for that special gift. I'd also like to thank Tracy Chambers, the chair of our brand committee. Tracy, this is a major step for us, and it really would not have happened without you. So your enthusiasm, your passion, your drive to actually get to this point is just so valuable. So thank you very much. I'd also like to apologise on Tracy's behalf. She's got a very long-standing family commitment on tonight, a very special performance by her daughter. So she was very kind enough to come along for this part of our ceremony. So we really appreciate that, Tracy, and we do understand that family always comes first. So thank you for allowing, thank Millie for allowing us to share you tonight. Thank you. I'd now like to introduce the Christchurch Youth Choir, who are going to perform for us tonight 2 numbers as a break before we start our more formal part of the ceremony, which is our annual general meeting.